I want to take you back to Natasha Akpoti-Udagan's distinguished Senator Natasha Akpoti-Udagan's situation, please. Um, I've always been a believer that, and I like the fact that you put the three musketeers of Wike, Tinubu, and what was the other one? The judiciary, the and Akpabio. Yes, please. I have always believed that to get any reaction, especially from the APC government, we have to take them where they don't have a grounding. Well, like when they come abroad, they become ordinary citizens. So you see them in trains, you see them in buses. So, to that, I want to know if Senator Akpoti Udagan's suspension and allegations can be pursued at international legal bodies, say, for example, under the human rights laws. Is that a possibility? And if so, how practical can those steps be taken?
I will have to think about that carefully because of the technicalities of the international human rights systems. But of course, it's also possible to look at the mechanisms of the ECOWAS court, no matter, even if it is for declaratory purposes. But I do think, depending on how we craft the facts, it may be possible to work the issues into the accountability mechanisms of international human rights law. I certainly do think so. Whether it is, if it is not the reporting mechanisms, then it is the case and complaints mechanisms. But I do think that is possible. Of course, even given the visibility that this issue has attracted, because it is the biggest news out of Nigeria. It's been covered, gavel to gavel in many ways by all the major platforms in the world, and the wire services are making it the top issue in Nigeria. So they are distributing the news on Senator Natasha's issue across the world, and it's being picked up everywhere. My sense is that given that particular trend with this particular matter, it shouldn't be that difficult to get the special rapporteurs, relevant special rapporteurs within the United Nations system or in the African system to also take it on and use it to seek to hold Nigerian government accountable. So I see channels for addressing that within the framework of international human rights accountability. Yes.
Thank you very much, Roy, and thanks to Prof for responding to the question. Do we still have any more questions? Do we have any more questions?
No, we've kind of clawed back the 17 minutes.
Oh, yes. Just give me a minute for my last question, and then I will release you. Thank you very much, sir. So there's been a lot of things being said. There's a lot of things happening behind the scene. A lot of people have been sent to Senator Natasha, we know, for her to, in their own word, let this go, right? And what is your take on this? Do you think this will? Do you think we'll get to a point that she will say, "Okay, I'm not doing this anymore. This is it"? Do you see that happening?
I mean, when we're talking about Nigeria, we're talking about politicians. Never is not part of the lingo of that species, and I'm not going to sit down here and start saying a politician will never do this or never do that. I'll be governed by the facts day by day. So I'm not going to prognosticate on what is going to happen or not happen. Everyone will have to decide what they do. You can see Nasser El-Rufai now and what he's doing. So I'm not going to swear for any Nigerian politician or by them.
All right, last question, sir, please. There's been there's videos making runs from I'm taking you back to Rivers State. The way things are, what do you think will be the end game in this whole thing? Are we going to have a situation whereby we have these Niger Delta boys coming back again? Do you see that happening if things don't go the right way?
I don't know what the right way means, to be perfectly honest with you. But anyone who sits down here and believes that there are no scenarios in this in which you could have a descent into impermissible violence or violence that nobody should want to say they like is a joker. I don't think that requires the governor to trigger anything. No. The fact is that people are going to be looking at this and thinking that the instrumentalization of the state and its institutions has gone beyond anything that they can lawfully fight, and therefore they are going to do their fighting outside the bounds of legality. That is just what the fact scenario, that's what the landscape is saying. And I think anyone who is interested in trying to avoid that has to also speak to the weaker side and tell them they are overreaching. They've got to speak to the judiciary and the senior justices of the Supreme Court and tell them they are overreaching. They've got to understand that there are other sides in this. The Supreme Court has certainly taken a side in this. Now, they're no longer doing justice. No, they're doing transaction. On the face of the judgment that I have read, they are not doing justice. They are doing transaction. And when courts start to do, you see, courts quite often have to hand down difficult decisions. But you know even when you lose, you know when a court has done a credible job. And even when you lose, you commend the judges for doing a credible job. And there are times when you win, and you know, as in win in quotes, and you know the judgment has been bought and sold. So that's the thing here. And we've got to be careful not to make Rivers State, to return Rivers State to days that nobody wants to have it returned to. This is the problem here. So whatever clips people are watching, the reality is this is affecting people's lives. That a few politicians can sit down in Abuja with a few judges and tell the Rivers State people, your money is no longer your money. And they want the Rivers State people to keep quiet. I'm not sure the Rivers State people will accept to keep quiet. If they do decide that they don't want to keep quiet, the politicians have a problem on their hands.
Okay, thank you. One more last question. What is your last word for Senator Natasha?
I know I've known Senator Natasha for quite a while, and I'm glad, quite frankly. She's an unlikely heroine in this thing, but she's got the skills to force an issue out of an issue that most other Nigerian politicians would not be able to. And she's focused attention on this, and she's shown tremendous courage. Like her, dislike her, lump her, call her names. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has shown extraordinary courage in this matter. And for that, if nothing else, I have the utmost admiration for what she's doing. And she's got my vote and my support, even if it means my relocating my registration to Kogi Central to go and vote for her, I will try and do so. And if I cannot vote in Kogi Central, I will support her every inch of the way. And let me repeat myself. The women of the Senate are disgraceful. They are totally disgraceful. And I hope Nigerians punish Ireti Kingibe and remove her and make sure she does not ever smell any elective office for the remainder of her life. I hope Nigerians punish Senator Olujimi from Ekiti State. And forever and ever she will, and Senator Kingibe in particular, because citizens revolted against the old politics and sent her to the Senate against the odds. And when citizens needed her to stand up, and even if she couldn't stand up, she could have said nothing, she could have kept quiet. Instead, she led the boat on a younger senator, and using age on her side, she led the boat upon a younger senator to destroy her. I hope people destroy her politically. I really do hope so. And I'm calling on Nigerians to destroy her politically and ruin her political life so that she never ever has to return to political office. And people will know that when you are in this position, you stand up for something that is viable and something that is right.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prof. Chidi Odinkalu, for always making time to come and lecture us on this platform. We don't take that for granted, and we thank you immensely. And thank all my co-hosts, Umar Sani, and all the speakers. Thank you guys, and all the listeners. You guys have been amazing as always. We're going to end the space for now, and hopefully we'll come back sometime next week, and we'll continue where we stopped.